Aloha and welcome to Paradise Hawaiian Style. We are on part 3 of our Alawai walk. We did the big part of the Alawai. Now we're going to do the part of the Alawai that's behind the convention center by the Ala Moana Shopping Center as the Alawai exits into the ocean. So this will be a nice part to see. We'll see if there's any more wildlife in the water that's a little bit closer to the ocean. So maybe there's some more, I've heard, seals, more fish, and even turtles. So we'll see if we can see any of those. Plus we'll walk behind the convention center, check out some fun stuff, and see some cool things. So join us, like us down below, leave me a comment, let me know what you like, what you want me to do, and let's get to it. All right, guys, as we're walking down the Alawai here, this is a particularly scenic part. One of the older or first bridges of the Alawai. I think the date on that is the 1940s, so maybe we'll check that out if we can see the sign there. That is Kalakaua. Actually, the Alawai looks like it's a pretty low tide today. Sometimes that water comes right up the side of the wall there, as you can see by the water marks. This little pathway was redone not so many years ago, and actually it's looking pretty good today. Some days it's not so good, full of trash and stuff, but today looks like they've cleaned it out, done some maintenance. Things look pretty nice. There's a nice little bridge here for one of the inlets that feeds into the Alawai. You can see some of the older residential housing. Then as you veer to the left here, you see all the new condos and apartment buildings in the neighborhood. Beautiful day today in Hawaii. This is a newer building here. It's actually like a retirement center for seniors. You can get a condo in there, get your meals, activities, some health care, I imagine. And a nice view, nice centrally located. You can see on this Makiki stream, this was built in 2000. A nice look to it. Coming up to Kalakaua here and the convention center. This is the back part of the convention center. It's a nice part of the Alawai. It's really shaded, some mature trees. So we'll walk down there, head out to Ala Moana Boulevard, take a look at the harbor, and then go from there. All right, guys, we're back behind the convention center, walking along one of the older parts of the Alawai. We'll be on the other side of the canal there in a little bit, but you can see the unique architecture there that was missing from the other parts of the Alawai. That's part of the original architecture with the border there, the steps, the railing with the little arches through it. It's really nicely done. This area here, for a number of years, was a bunch of different things, from a car lot to all kinds of different stuff. And then they built the convention center, and its popularity is growing and growing all the time. More and more events are being held here. They do some nice stuff. There's a mature rooster there. I've seen them use these steps on a lot of different TV shows, from Doogie Howser, MD. I think I even saw an episode of Hawaii Five-0 where they sort of pretended that it was a foreign city, and they made it into a cafe with tables and chairs out here and in the water. They also, when the Hokulea comes into town, they will often come and park right here so people can visit and go on and off and check that out, which is a really unique thing. Sort of a recreation of the voyaging vessels that the Hawaiians used. I'm not sure if you've heard about that, but they're in the islands. I'm not sure if they're in the islands now or if they're on one of their journeys. But a lot of times when they do come to Hawaii, they'll come here so that people can visit, because they're recreating the old ways of sailing. This waterfall looks like it's out of commission. Kind of interesting to see the architecture of the convention center and the steps. It's the area that we just came from. You can see the unique arches of the bridge of the Kalakaua over the Alawai, and how it kind of matches the arches that go along the Alawai Boulevard part of the canal. All right, guys, we got off the shaded part of the trail. I wanted to give you a quick shot of the actual water here. Oh, there's a reef fish. See the ones with the black stripes? Don't know the names, but I'm surprised to see it in here. You can actually see a little bit of the water, which is kind of cool. And there is the Ala Moana Boulevard and all the hotels and condos. Some of them are newer, some of them are older. See that rainbow striped tower over there? That's part of the Hilton Hawaiian Village. They actually just redid, well, in the last couple of years, redid all the rainbow tiles that go on this side of the building and then also the other side of the building. Kind of cool. Some great apartment buildings here. This is a very densely packed neighborhood back here. One of the most densely packed neighborhoods or zip codes in all of Hawaii, with a lot of people, condos, some vacation rentals, but mostly condos. And then as you get closer to the ocean, those ones are the hotels. So we'll keep walking along here. We're a little closer to the water as opposed to this little upper landing there. Check out the water. Well, it's a little murkier down here. Like I mentioned in one of the other videos, one of the things they're trying to do is put what they call Genki balls, which are these balls with these like helpful bacteria that sort of help eat all the sludge and the bad bacteria that's in the Alawai. And actually it's really made a difference. Might not be so evident today, but it has. These are some kind of cool deco apartment buildings that are kind of tucked away here on the Alawai Canal. What, about 3 or 4 floors? They're about a block or two back from Atkinson Boulevard. So they're not on a main thoroughfare, but they're kind of nice. They're kind of cool in the way that they look. In kind of a Miami Beach, South Beach kind of way. It's kind of neat. Back beyond those buildings, a couple blocks, is the Ala Moana Shopping Center, one of the country's largest open-air shopping center. Used to be a place where a lot of locals would go with a lot of unique shops and such. Now there are some great shops there and stuff, but it's more of high-end retail, the Gucci, the Pradas, all that kind of stuff there now. So it's not so appealing, I think, to the local clientele. It's become more of a tourist thing. Some of the other malls are more geared more towards tourists with more unique shops that you can't find anywhere else. Still a beautiful mall, really nicely done. There's some, actually, it runs the gamut. So they have the real high-end stuff, but then they also have lower-end stuff. I mean, there's a Target there. I think there's a Ross shoe outlet. There's a bunch of fun, different shops there. So whatever you need. Back on the main trail here. We're heading up towards Ala Moana Boulevard. Uh-oh, somebody sees us. I see you. Side note is, this is Discovery Bay, I think. Yeah, Discovery Bay. Anyways, but it's also parking for the YMCA that I used to go to when I was in high school here. So I used to park right along here and kind of look out. And every time I walk by here, which isn't very often, but I'm reminded of those days parking down here and then running to go take an exercise class or lift some weights or what have you at the local YMCA, which is right behind here. Actually, I think that YMCA is being sold or has been sold because it's on a prime piece of real estate. And they can get a lot more money to benefit their causes by selling the land and letting them redevelop it to keep it and use it. Busy Ala Moana Boulevard. Off in the distance there is a shopping center and Macy's department store. This is the Alawai Yacht Harbor. Actually, that little path there where you can see the trees leads out to the ocean, and that's where the opening sequence is for Gilligan's Island. In the opening credits, they sail out from there. Tons of stuff shot here in the Alawai Yacht Harbor. Old 5.0, new 5.0, old Magnum, new Magnum. This building here, this fancy apartment building called the Prince, used to be a Kaiser hospital. And one of the last episodes of Magnum PI, the one with Tom Selleck, they actually show the implosion of that building before they built the Prince. They showed the building that was there before, and it was part of the sequence. Maybe some of you big fans know Higgins got trapped in the elevator and they had to rush out before the building was demolished. Anyways, another day we'll go down Ala Moana Boulevard, and off to the side there is the Ilikai. I actually did another video on the Ilikai not too long ago. So that's off there, and then these are all condos and stuff. But we are going to continue to walk down the Alawai. Off in the distance there is a lot of the new developments in town. Ala Moana Beach Park and the Alawai Yacht Harbor. This is actually where Alawai Boulevard ends or begins. It's a little roundabout, so these apartments here are kind of cool because there's not a lot of traffic because there's no thoroughfare. You can walk through here and get back up to Ala Moana Boulevard, but the street ends right there. And so this is the other side of the Ala Moana Bridge and the canal. Let's see, is it clear? Not too much happening down there. We'll continue down here along the Alawai Canal and Alawai Boulevard. See some of the residential condominium units here and some of the other cool things. Be right back. Alright guys, as we continue our walk down the Alawai here, several parking spaces available. This is really a find to see so many parking spaces available. Unless they're going to be doing street cleaning soon or something's happening. But this is one of the few places you can get free parking for an extended amount of time. It's actually behind all these palms here. It's actually the grounds of one of these fancy condos. I saw one of the listings online on the real estate websites, like $1 million, $1.5 million for a 2-bedroom condo. Great views, nice, not super big. Not as big as you'd think you'd get for $1 million, $1.5 million. But the grounds behind those palms is quite lush and tropical. All sorts of like green areas for parties and picnicking, and then of course the pools and hot tub and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really nice. And again, centrally located on a part of the Alawai Boulevard that's actually kind of quiet, but close to Waikiki, Ala Moana Shopping Center, and all the action. You can see those people going into the front entrance of the condo. But what's so crazy in Hawaii is you got like $1 million condos right here, as you can see, and then right in front of it you got a building that is overrun with graffiti and fenced off to keep squatters out. So crazy. Actually, I saw in the news that they're finally going to actually tear down that building, which is kind of funny because the other two buildings right in front of it are the same style, same design. Whoever bought those redid them, either renting or selling out the units, but they never did anything with this third one. I guess it sat too long and it just makes more sense to tear it down now. But you got lower to middle income housing right here, and then you got super high-end housing within 100 feet of each other. Some of the steps that you saw on the other part of our Alawai walking tour were filled in to keep people out. Sometimes you can see all kinds of crabs and stuff down there. Interestingly enough, behind these apartment buildings are some more like 2-3-story apartment buildings, and that's where our friend Dano from the reboot of Hawaii Five-0 lived, and they did quite a bit of shooting back there, and that was the place that he lived. Down that street there is some more residential condos, and then a little shopping center called Eaton Square. I remember when I was growing up, Eaton Square was a kind of a fun place to be because they had these garbage cans. Okay, this is in the 80s, right? So big deal. Put the trash in, and then there was a little sensor there that read you putting the trash in, and you were able to get some sort of thank you, yummy, love trash, that sort of thing. So it was kind of a big deal, and as a little kid, I was really impressed by that. I think they took those trash cans out a long time ago. Coming up here, this building has been, they finally put a fence around it to keep people out, but it has been a number of things. But back in the day, that was the headquarters for KGMB, our local CBS affiliate. That was their studios and stuff before they moved to more modern facility. But that was that for a long time, and it was actually a radio station headquarters too. I think 98.5, 98.7 KPOI, whatever it was back in the day. Now that's an 80s channel, I believe, but back then it was hard rock, and that was their headquarters too. 1717 Alawai. This building is kind of a special one because during the holidays they used to have these big contests, and this is one of the buildings where they did this, and they would have a contest to see who could decorate their patios, or lanais we call them, the most. And so this building was one of the ones that was like almost completely done up in lights and stuff for the holidays. That was back in the 80s, and I don't think they do that anymore. Let's do a quick look down here and see. Unfortunately, we do see some trash from a tire to some wire, but you can see it, and you see some fish making, I guess, a little home with the tire and stuff. So at least it's clearing up a little bit. Kind of low tide for the Alawai. This is actually a good shot here of the convention center from across the Alawai. Really nicely done. I mean, beautiful convention center, lots of space. They actually hold indoor like volleyball tournaments there, basketball, all sorts of made in Hawaii festivals. The KawaiiCon comic festivals are in there. All kinds of stuff. They did have a lot of problems with the roof though, and the water leaking in. I'm not sure if that was just from deferred maintenance or what happened, but actually you can kind of see some of the water damage on the one section there. But hopefully they'll get that fixed, because it's too nice of a building to let it run down too much. You always know it's a beautiful day when you can always see up into the beautiful Ko'olau Mountains. Again with the parking, I can't believe it. I don't think I've ever seen so much parking on the Alawai. I'm thinking there might be some sort of street cleaning today, and so the cars have to be gone by a certain time. It's too good to be true. There must be a reason. We're heading back up here to where we started our walking tour. Hopefully you guys had a good time. All right, guys. Well, this is the end of our walking tour. We walked and we're back to where we started at the Alawai, where it meets McCully. So hope you had a good time today. Please like and follow us down below. Let me know what you'd like to see, and hopefully I'll be making more of these videos for you. We appreciate any support you can give us on the channel here as we try to build an audience and do some fun stuff and see some fun, cool things. So we'll see you real soon. Aloha!